We live off rice and literally government cheese.
What is government cheese?
That's where the government gives you cheese. It's like food stamps, but not really.
Oh, okay.
Think Velveeta cheese. It's in a big box like this and you can freeze it. It's like about this big. Anyways.
Just thinking about that makes my stomach curl.
I'm hanging on to a rock star this morning.
Oh, I thought I forgot my coffee.
Don't forget your coffee.
Didn't forget it.
Anyways, the rock star is keeping me alive since I was at the airport at 5 this morning, dropping your father off.
Was it the farther one or the closer one?
The farther one or the closer one?
Savannah or Charlotte?
Oh, it was Savannah. It was Savannah.
Oh, okay. So that's not, I mean, it's far,
No.
but not that far.
Charleston. Did you say Charlotte? Charleston.
Oh, I did say Charlotte.
There's Charleston and there's Savannah. Yeah.
My bad.
I'm having serious eye water issues here.
It's okay. Just pretend you're crying and like it'll be really emotional.
Oh my
And
gosh. It's like at church, right?
what, you fake cry at church?
No, it's just like my allergies would hit me at church and I'd be like leading worship and
People
I'd be
will
like,
look.
oh, she's so emotional.
She's really into
Oh,
it.
she's so into this. And I'm like, yes, I am. And tears are streaming down. But meanwhile, I'm like, dang it, I should have taken an allergy pill.
Hey, that's like the one time where it's like acceptable to cry in public like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
yeah.
acceptable always, but you know, it's not seen as weird.
I didn't want to give like a false impression, but
No.
yeah. So you're looking pretty nice today.
Thank you.
You look kind of like very fairy princessy.
Oh,
Yeah, like for some reason.
fairy princess?
Yeah, like a fairy princess.
Okay.
You are my princess. I mean, that's your name in my phone for emergencies. It's Princess.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
And I did. No, but I've been reading books about fairies, so that's a high compliment. The Fae.
Yeah. So that book that you have me reading, what series is it?
ACOTAR. A Court of Thorns and Roses is the first one.
A Court of Thorns and Roses, ACOTAR.
Roses.
Oh, I finally get. It's an acronym. I didn't realize that.
No.
I thought ACOTAR was like the region. Like, and I'm like waiting for ACOTAR to come in. Like, why are we all talking about ACOTAR? It's a Court of Thorns and Roses. Because the title's too long. People want to shorten everything. Yeah, so that book is giving me serious Beauty and the Beast fanfic vibes. And I'm not able to kind of reconcile that yet. So I'm waiting. I'm only like in 100 and some pages. But seriously, the whole storyline is like parallel to
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. So yeah.
You know, when I first read it, I didn't realize that. But now that you bring it up, I could definitely see why you think that. Because, well, if you don't know what the book is about, I'm not going to really... well, I feel like saying anything is going to give it away. But just know that it's like...
I'll tell you from where I am at page like, what, 103? I'm like, you got this chick. She's got to repay a debt.
Yeah.
She gets kidnapped. She's stuck in this place. You got, instead of books in a library, she's like admiring the pictures on the wall. These people are cursed. They have to wear... Okay, spoiler alert, mute your speakers right now because I'm going to give away a tiny little bit of spoilers. Okay, have you turned down your speakers? Okay, great. They have to wear these masks that are like attached to them when they're in human form. I mean, it's completely like Beauty and the Beast fanfic.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to make sure it's worth my vibe.
It is worth your vibe.
I mean-
It gets better. Like, it's good, but it gets...
Okay.
I just read a spicy scene in the book that I'm
You and
reading.
your spicy scenes.
Well, because, okay, so when I made her read Fourth Wing, and there's like a decent spicy scene in there. So I was like, be prepared.
There's more than a decent.
There's
like,
more than one.
Okay, there's like spice and then there's spicy.
Yeah, I just mean like
detailed spicy.
The detailed scene. So there's like a smaller version of that in ACOTAR. So I was like, be prepared. And she was like, is this going to be like one of your really spicy books? And I was like, no. I mean, I don't know that yet because I've only read the first one at that point. But now I'm like, ooh, is the second one gonna be too much? Because I read the spicy scene last night and I was like,
Yeah. You know, this is where we are in our relationship now. You're the Gen Zer, I'm the Gen Xer. Like the fact that we can share these kind of books, like awkward turtle moment if you were 16 and reading this, right? And you're like,
yeah.
oh, and I'd be like, no, Emma, you are not going to read this book. But at your age and my age, it's like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Gosh, your father would not read Spice.
No, that
He's
would
like
be
reading books on the
crazy.
founding fathers and
I wouldn't expect him to read anything else, honestly. I can't
no,
even fathom him reading something like Fourth Wing or
no, I
yeah.
can't either. I'm not going to have him read Iron Wing, whatever is Fourth Wing.
Iron Wing. That's what Evan says all the time. Fourth Flame.
I was going to say Iron Wing, it's Fourth Wing.
You know what drives me up a freaking wall? Make a heart
What?
with your hands. Right. Okay.
Hmm.
That's how you would normally make one, right?
Yeah, but
That's.
now it's like, what is it now?
I think it's this. Is it?
There's something else. Like,
Or no. Oh, that's gonna piss me off. I have to
it's
figure it out.
this, it's this. It's upside down now,
Is
right?
it? No, 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 no. Wait, I was about to make.
That looks like a vagina. We can't. Alex.
Stop
I'm
that.
sorry.
Well, I was gonna diss on it, but now I don't even. It's this.
This. How do you do this?
I don't know,
I
but
mean,
my
it
hands
does.
look
Looks
so
like
awkward. It does look like a heart, but I'm
it
like,
does.
I look
That's
like I'm
harder
just like,
to do. It's like,
my fingers are straining. It is unnatural. Like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, what the is this?
It's like, yeah.
Anyway.
Just don't do the vagina one. So, I just saw something on TikTok. Amanda Bynes is now doing cameos.
Oh, is she?
Yes. Didn't even know who it was. And I'm like, who is this woman talking like this? And it says Amanda Bynes, but her does not look like her. It does not sound like her.
No.
Yeah, it's
She's a different person.
it's kind of disturbing for me because you guys grew up watching the Amanda Show.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
What a crazy show.
And I remember watching like What a Girl Wants and
Mm-hmm.
to have your own sketch show when you're like, what, 13 years old? And to do so well and to get into films. But
Yeah.
I mean, good for her. She's becoming a manicurist apparently.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I saw that.
So she just has to get her license. Yeah.
You
So
know,
she
if
was
that's what she wants to do with her life, like, who's to say that a celebrity can't transition into something that a normal person would do, like a normal citizen?
Mhm.
Like, a lot of people. Oh, there's sorry, I know this is off track. You know, Wizards of Waverly Place,
Mhm.
Harper,
Yeah, I remember that show.
which is I like that I remember Harper. Who's Selena Gomez's Alex? Alex's friend Harper on the show is now a nurse. I think she now does a podcast though with the dad that was on the show, but she was / is a nurse. So just imagine you like get injured. You're like in a coma and wake up and Harper it's just your nurse.
But think about that too, though. Maybe she always wanted to be a nurse, but she was a child
Mm-hmm.
actress. You make money.
Oh yeah.
I missed my opportunity to ship y'all to Hollywood and have us live in the, back seat of a
How
sedan
freaking dare
while
you?
you went from interview to interview and got rejected and rejected, and I gave you a normal childhood. I'm a horrible mom.
I know.
But
I was going to say that, but since you're saying it, I'm glad you're owning up to it. So thank you.
it's called self-awareness. It's called self-awareness. I have self-awareness. So yeah, I apologize.
Thank you. That means the world to me.
You're so welcome. But yeah, Amanda, I feel bad that she got to the point that she got to. I mean, I was well aware of all the things that she was struggling with because it was plastered all over the media for the past, 10 years? It's
Mm-hmm.
gotta be hard. Like, does she have this circle of friends to
Lean
support
on.
her?
You know,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if she does, but I was going to say there's obviously a lot of other child actors that have gone through very similar things, like Jeanette McCurdy.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't go on the revamp of the iCarly show, whatever the one where they're all grown up, because of Dan Schneider. I don't know if there's no way he was producing the new one, but I think it just brought like a lot of trauma back into her life, just even thinking about going on the show.
That trauma goes back even to child actors in the 80s that I grew up with. The industry in Hollywood tends to have a perverse, and I'm going to say it, a perverse hold on children. And it could be because children, like you guys, when
Yep.
you and your brother were growing up too, you wanted to make videos, and I think you would have loved to have been on a TV show or something. And what you want to do to get there, if you don't have a child advocate on the set that's actually going to be almost, what is it, a guardian ad litem or something
Mm-hmm.
on the set protecting you, you're going to go with whatever because you don't know any different, right?
Right.
When you think back to child actors in the 80s, the Coreys, I don't know if you're aware of them, but there were the Coreys and then there are a few others. There was an actress named Dana, and her last name is just like left my thought track right now, but she committed suicide. Like they were on drugs, committed suicide, overdosed. River Phoenix was one of those. Um, and then you get to like the next generation, which would be like Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera. They were all on the Mickey Mouse Club show. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Um, but you see what happened to Britney Spears. It's almost tracking exactly what was going on with Amanda Bynes as well. So it's
Right.
tough to look at those now adults and think, what got you to that point? Where were your parents? Why were they not supportive? Were they living off of you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then now as
True.
grown-ups, like who is in that circle protecting you? Because just because you were a star, just because Harper from Waverly Place is now a nurse,
Yeah, let me look at her
like
real
it,
name because I feel really bad just knowing her by that. But you can continue.
yeah, but just because she's a nurse doesn't mean she's not protected from people who would recognize her. Obviously, a nurse is a great career.
Yeah, I mean, you should
Hmm.
be. That's a hard career too. Sorry, I feel like that bumped my microphone. Jennifer Stone is her name, by the way. Jennifer Stone.
Okay,
I knew that, but
Jennifer
it
Stone.
just wasn't on the
I just
brain.
think it's important for even as adults to have people in their circle, in their sphere,
Mm-hmm.
to protect them because it's all new territory if you're moving from a career in the industry to going out into the real world like Amanda Bynes wants to be a manicurist. Awesome, great.
Sorry.
I'll come get my nails done by you.
Honestly.
But she's at least got something that she wants to look forward to doing. Is it
Right.
going to get her that 6 or 7 figure income that she used to have? No. But is she perfectly happy? Yes. Do I think she still needs some help? Yeah. Do I really hope she has a circle of influence that she can work within? Yeah. Yeah, I think we all need that. Doesn't matter if we're child stars that are struggling and trying to recover or
Right.
regular people graduating from college, moving on from different jobs.
Yeah.
Who's your circle?
No one currently for me. Just kidding. They're on the other side of the country, besides like one.
I'll encircle you with the love. But even long distance, you can have a circle of friends, a
Mm-hmm.
circle of.
You just gotta make sure you both communicate with each other. I'm literally FaceTiming my one friend Vanessa and my other friend Noelle this weekend because I'm like I don't know. I mean, I go so long without talking to some of my friends, and then we both just end up texting like a couple months later, and it's like the same. Like it doesn't matter how long we go without talking, and that's when I feel like you have a true friend.
I agree with that. I mean, obviously, I have friends that for longer than you've been
Yeah.
even born. I still am in touch with friends from college and even high school.
Mm-hmm.
They'll reach out to me, we'll have a pause, and then we just reconnect and pick up where we were because we had a lot in common. We may not now, like some of my friends don't have children. Two of my high school friends don't have children. They're married, but they can't identify with some of the struggles or even some of the successes that I've had raising children.
Yeah.
But I think we still connect as friends. One of my closest friends, we just had an hour and a half uh, chat on the phone. We were both
Mm-hmm.
like crafting. I do those little miniature houses. And
Yeah.
she sells crafts. So she's like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm
she
gonna talk to
does.
Amy." Yeah, she does.
Cute. Oh my
So,
goodness.
but I hadn't seen her for what is it, 12 years, I think. And we
That's
weren't really in touch with
crazy.
each other. Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
You were still a baby.
I know,
And
a
but
youngin.
she's coming out here to visit us and it'll be nice, but we just, we pick it right up.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you had those type of women in your life too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know those girls because I've known them since you were 13 and 14 years old.
Yeah.
So the fact that 12 years later, you're still in touch with them and
Right.
hanging out
It's
and
just
having
like not
those.
normal, especially from like friends from high school and middle school. Like normally I wouldn't have thought that I'd be the one to still keep in touch with some of those friends, but I don't know. I think it's interesting because like a lot of like popular people back. I know this is off track, but they almost seem very stuck in high school. And
You know my theory on this, right? My theory is that there are people that peak in high school and can't get over that. I don't think you peaked. I've told you this before. You're peaking. You're not even peaked yet. You didn't peak in
I
high
hope
school, and
that's
that was the
true.
end all be all.
I'm still getting acne. Do you see this? I had to cover it up.
No, they look to
I mean, it's pimples. It's not acne, but it's like patches on my face that I picked. Sorry, I'm
that's
just
okay.
off topic, but
But peaking is like you hit your highs all in high school. You
yeah.
accomplished this and this and this off of your, you know, bucket list for being 18.
Mm-hmm.
I could point out a lot of people that peaked in high school in my life and in your life because as an observer with some of your friends and some of the activities that you did, I could tell you exactly who was peaking in high school and who would not be able to get over that.
Yeah.
You didn't have that.
Right.
You had a lot of activities, you were involved in a lot of things, but you didn't peak. You're still moving and growing. And that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I had more friends in college than I did in high school.
Which I think honestly, like that's normal as well. Like I have a couple college friends that I still talk to.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's when you meet normally the people that you connect with the most because especially you like almost have to choose to hang out with your college friends whereas in high school you're all kind of going to the same classes together and there's less time to hang out outside of school and activities. So in college you like choose to hang out with people because you have more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and you have connections. You're going for the same type of industry or the same type of education, you
So
know.
you have a lot more in
Um,
common.
yeah, absolutely.
That's why I think it's really important to keep those people in your circle that you know you completely trust and that you are willing to give the energy to like foster that relationship because if you add people that are in your circle that like stress you out, you think it's a chore to hang out with them, it's going to like impact you in a negative way. So that's why especially recently in my life, I don't have a lot of friends because I choose specific people that I know that I have a good energy and vibe with to hang out with and keep like close in my circle. Like I probably have four really good friends that I can say are probably like my okay, maybe five, which I feel like that's a lot to have like five best friends, but it's like people that I choose to either hang out with, FaceTime, literally just text because I feel like if I were to give more of myself away to more people, then it's just I'm depleting my energy for the people that I love the most. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
No, it does. It absolutely makes
And I'm not saying
sense.
I won't be like friends with other people in the future, but the people that I like hold really close to my heart. There's only like a few that I do that with, so.
Those are the ones you're going to sit with on the porch in the rocking chairs with whiskey in your teacup
Oh yeah, whiskey and
and
coffee.
and chat about all those people that peaked in high school. Gossip.
Yeah.
I'm like-minded. I think people come into your life or you come into their life for maybe a set time. Maybe they need to learn something from you or you need to learn something from them.
Right.
And then once that's done, if you have an amicable, split, that's fine. Like some people just naturally grow apart. Like with my friends in high school, some went off to careers. I went on to raise a family and then have my career.
Yeah.
But, some just kept that career trajectory and that's where they're at right now. But, we always come back.
Hmm.
And, maybe we'll learn something from each other at this point in our life too as well. But high school was rough for me. So yeah, junior high, high school,
Oh,
did not have a
Mom.
circle. Did not have a circle. Um, yeah, fun story. I was in sixth grade, Mr. Mr. Jerry's class.
That's his last name?
Yeah, Geri. He was kind of short, a little balding. Yeah. Yeah, I was the one of the chubbier girls in class. Although technically if I look back at myself now, not that chubby. But I had some friends and I remember when that broke apart.
Hmm.
I grew up in a family that did not have a lot of money.
Yeah.
My husband, let's do this. My dad worked in a union and they would often go on strike every 2 years. So you can it's clockwork and we'd live off rice and literally government cheese. And
What is government
government
cheese?
cheese, that's where the government gives you cheese. Like it's like food stamps, but not really. It's like food. And government
Oh,
cheese
okay.
is like think Velveeta cheese. It's in a big box like this and you can freeze it. It's like about this big. And you can freeze it and then yeah, so and then you get bread and make cheese sandwich. Yeah.
Just
Anyways,
thinking about that makes my stomach curl.
mine too. Anyways, but I had a friend. I will call her let's call her Natalie. And
I
she was
hate that you say it like that. Oh, let's call her Natalie. What made you pick that name? I'm just kidding.
I don't
Keep going.
but she was left-handed and I had scraped up enough money to get a birthday card. So I rode my bike all the way down to this kind of small little store called Sprouts Rights. And I found the perfect birthday card for her because she's left-handed, right? It was a
Mhm.
left-handed birthday card, so it opened on the opposite side. And I thought, I'm so thoughtful. This is the great. I can't afford a gift for her, but I can give her a nice birthday card, right?
That makes me want to cry.
So I you know brought it to school, gave it to her, and middle of the day she just got mad. I remember seeing her in a little group of our friends, but I was not part of this group, right? And she got mad at me. I forget the words she said, but the harshest thing she did was give me back the birthday card and she had wrote some horrible things about me on there. And she gave it back to me and I was devastated. Devastated because I thought this girl and her friends were my friends. And I learned the hard way that no. I think that like scarred me when I realized that I didn't have like a group of friends. I didn't grow up in a household like you grew up in. That's all I'm going to say.
I know. You've had a very hard
I'd
upbringing.
sit on your bed, I'd love you.
Yeah.
But this was devastating for me and it's a tough time like junior high school. I was 12, sixth grade, chubby girl, really curly short hair. My mom used to keep my hair short and we'd get our clothes sometimes from secondhand stores. Yeah, it was just not a happy time, but that scarred me and I'm like, man. And so I had to find a new group of friends,
Yeah.
but I never remained close really with anybody through high school until I went to church to a different church and made some friends there. But I
I'm
couldn't be
so
friends with anybody in my
sorry.
school. It's so sad.
That makes me want to cry.
I
How?
remember I held on to that card too, and I remember reading it and thinking, am I these things that were written about me? Am
No,
I these
no.
things? But I didn't have anybody to talk to. Here's my group of friends. They're all like on her side. Yeah, that was a horrible thing. How dare you give her a card and mock her left-handedness? And I'm like,
That's not something you can like be mad
that
about.
was
That's so
like, I
crazy.
got her, and it was a nice birthday card. It was like, it wasn't like a joke card either.
Okay, so it would be different if let's say she didn't have a right hand, so she was forced to use her left hand. Like let's say she was an
Mm-hmm.
amputee,
Right. Okay.
then that would have been, a big move for you. But the fact that you were just so thoughtful and like you used your own hard-earned money to get her that card and she just like tossed it right
Yeah.
back in your face and
Yeah.
that's so
And I remember too, like it was so weird because in freshman year we ended up in the same PE class and she didn't even talk to me at all. I was just like I was now relegated to the lower level, the lower tier of people in my high
oh
school.
no.
And I was one of those that like floated from group to group. There was like some people that would, be nice to me and some people that wouldn't. And some people like, can I sit at your table kind of thing. And it was just horrible. It was, yeah. And then being on like, being on the meals that you had I think it was the blue lunch ticket, which showed that you actually got free lunches or
Mm-hmm.
reduced lunches.
Yeah, reduced
So
lunch.
you were
Yeah.
already like stigmatized because I didn't want to show my lunch ticket to anybody and
no.
it was it was horrible, but you get to this point, you get over it. I made sure that my senior year in high school I ended up going to a different school. I found my circle of friends there.
Wait, so your senior year of high school, you transferred schools?
I went to a private
So
school.
you were at a brand new school for your
Brand new
last year of school?
school
That is crazy.
in a different country, in Canada, my senior year of high school. I went to the school. I wanted to graduate with my friends from church. So I went to their private high school. I got accepted. Actually started, I was 3 days into my senior year at my other school when my dad called and said, somebody just paid for your tuition at this private school. I know who it is. I knew who it was that did that.
Were they
Very
related to
close
you?
friends.
Or a friend?
No, but
Okay.
they were very good friends from church and very wealthy and,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, kindest
Was it
people.
expensive?
Well, for my family, yeah, for other families,
Like a
not.
couple thousand, like was it like a, for the whole year?
Maybe $5,000 for the year, maybe. But it was a good start for me. I made new friends. I started becoming myself. I had to drive to school across the border every day. My brother actually went to the same school. He's a year younger than me. He has a different trajectory, so we won't go there. But but for me, it wasn't like reinventing myself. I got to be myself. I was
Mm.
me. It was the new person. It was the American girl in the Canadian school.
All eyes were on you.
Yep. I remember I sang at like my graduation banquet. I did a lot of things. I had more opportunity there because people were kinder. And I found
Yeah.
my circle and I'm still friends with them either on Facebook or we actually email back and forth to this day. And then when I went on to
Oh.
college, at least my first year of college too, I'm friends with those girls as well and some guys too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was horrible though growing up in a small town and you come from low income. And yeah, it was
Yeah,
horrible.
you're
So,
ostracized.
and yeah, you're definitely ostracized. You're riding the bus with these people and nobody wants to sit next to you. It's and I didn't feel it until I was 12 years old and that's when I realized I didn't have anybody. I really didn't have anybody that, I had some friends and I'll give it to this that there were
Mm-hmm.
some friends that would invite me to their birthday party, but you're invited is kind of a fringe invite because they all have these secret
Mm, a
little like
pity invite.
it's like a pity invite where everybody in the group invites everybody else to their parties, but you're the only one who got to go to this girl's party. You didn't get to go to everybody else's party. So they have all these
Huh.
other experiences that they did together
That they can
that you
talk
weren't part of.
about and yeah.
Mhm. It's like the torture I put you through when you would go to your friends and they'd all be on their cell phones,
I was
and I
thinking
would
the
not let you have
same
a cell
thing.
phone until you were 16
Oh my
years old. I can
gosh.
only imagine.
And you know what? I'm grateful that I did not have like an actual cell phone until I was literally 16 when I got my first one. I had a cell phone before that, but it didn't have any cellular data, so I could like post on Instagram and like stuff like that. But yeah, when I was in middle school, all my friends had their little like slide up phones that they could like text all the time and like every single one of my friend group had that. And then I was just like I didn't have anything. So there'd be times I'd be so frustrated because like they would all be on their phones texting people, doing whatever, and then there was just me and I'm like just existing. When I first got to 6th grade, I transferred schools. Well, we transferred school districts a quarter of the way through my 6th grade year. So that was weird to like start off school or start off in a new school like a couple months in. Because everybody's already like kind of like adjusted to their classes and everything. And then there's me and I'm just like, hi guys. And so everybody, you know, like for example at lunch has their little posse that they sit with. And there was this one table that nobody would sit at because it was like the table for people that don't have friends, basically. Okay? So I would sit with this girl who I would sit with on the bus. And she is on the spectrum, which just so you can, you know, get a picture in your head, if you will. So it sometimes was just hard to connect with her because we experience different stuff, but we also like think a lot differently. So I would sit with her and a couple of her friends that she had more common, what's the word? Common, you know, she had more in common with.
She had more in common with, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like them, and then it was me at this table where like nobody else wanted to sit with. Because like they were huge tables, and so we were on the one half of the table and then like half of that table. But every other table was freaking filled, so you knew that we were just the like awkward, don't really have a lot of friends table. And this, I probably sat there and I was, you know, I was fine, but I just didn't really have any friends at that time for like probably like half a year. And then eventually I made a friend and I was invited to their table. So I kind of just yeeted out of there, you know?
Do you think when you were growing up, like when you were in class, that they treated you differently because you sat with people that were differently abled?
That's a good question. I know that when I rode the bus, because I was the last stop to be picked up, which is great because then you have the most time in the morning and then you don't have to get up at like the butt crack of dawn. But at the same time, our bus was like filled to max capacity. So I would have to go, like every seat at least had like 2 people in it. So the girl that I sat with at the lunch table, it was like her older sister, who was also on the spectrum, and then her. And then she always would be like, oh yeah, come sit with us. And then I'd like try to sit and like half my ass cheek would be on the seat and the other half would be like begging for dear life trying to stay on. And I would just, for like 15 minutes, I'd have to do basically like a one-legged leg workout, holding on for dear life. Anyway, so honestly, like a lot of people that were in my grade were also like, you know, the middle schoolers sit at the front, the high schoolers get the back, whatever. So I knew like most of the people around me and they would see that, you know, that's who I was, I guess, choosing to sit with. And I didn't talk to anybody else on that bus besides those people. Even Matthew, didn't really talk to him. Although we play our little DS. We play like, we'd go on PictoChat. I don't know if you know what that is.
Mm-mm.
It's basically like integrated in every DS and it's like a chat room. So all nearby DSs can like log on to that specific chat room and you can send little messages and like.
I didn't know that.
That was my way of texting back in the day, but you have to be like in a certain, it's like a walkie-talkie,
range.
You know?
Oh, wow. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I can't really say yes or no if that would have affected
the way people. Well,
I think I was just a shy person and very insecure as a child. Still feel like I have a little bit of that, but yeah.
By 7th grade, you were in the school musical. You were in band. You were still doing, I think, gymnastics at that point too. So you were competing on the weekends. So
and
you
I was
did
in
have a lot of
chorus.
things going on. And you were in chorus too.
It was a great year. Yeah.
From 7th grade on, I think you did pretty well. I think you had, and you still have your core group of friends. So that's nice.
I do.
So I've got pictures from your 14th birthday party. What's interesting is I look at the picture of that core group of friends, and I think even at your wedding, they were there. You know, you got married during COVID, so it was a little reduced in the amount of people that were there. We won't even go into that. But you had that circle, and like you say, you're still in touch with them, and you know, you took your group picture together, and you know, now that everybody else is getting married, it's nice that you guys are still together. Yeah.
I feel like the mom of the group, and not that I'm like any older than anyone, like maybe by a couple months, but it's like so fun seeing like all my other friends get engaged and married, and I'm like, yay, it's not just me. Because, like, I feel like when you get married, it's almost, you're not ostracized by any means. That is not the word, but that's the one that I'm thinking of. You're just like, you almost feel like you're not, you feel older, like a little step older than everybody else. And it's almost like you don't feel like you fit in because you're officially like legally bind to some other person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's very exciting that all my friends are getting married. I mean, I do have single friends, okay? But we love them just as equally. But you know, when you get married at the ripe age of 21,
Yeah.
people start to be like, are you okay in the
When's
head?
the baby due?
No, literally. When's the baby due? Not in the next.
Not in this century.
Yeah.
Probably not in this decade. Maybe.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
30s we'll think about it. We'll regroup.
Yeah. I think too, though, once you get out of high school, once you get out of college, and you're in the workforce, I think it's harder then as well to get your circle because
For sure. Yeah.
in the industry that I worked in the tech industry, but there's people, and especially women, that are competing for the same roles. To find your circle there and your circle of support and influence, mentorship, you have to choose wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Because, people might have the exact same goals you do. So you can make friends with people in your circle that are competing for the same goals that you are. And how do you navigate that?
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was difficult is that my circle outside of work didn't understand my work pressures because some of them didn't work in the industry. They had other types of jobs like receptionists, those type of jobs. But I
Yeah.
was, in a director role, and I didn't have that circle to really talk to that understood what I was going through. Not to say that I didn't have work friends,
Mm-hmm.
but it was different because you couldn't like talk to them about your goals and what you're trying to do. You could commiserate together, but if there was like one opportunity to improve yourself or to prove yourself as well, you were in competition with those people. And that makes it really hard to find a circle at work. So I don't recommend it unless it's somebody who's working for your company that works in a completely different department.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
there's no chance of them taking your.
no, I'm still in touch with a few people from my old jobs that did that.
Yeah.
Finding a place to have a circle within your workplace is difficult at best.
At best.
But
That's
and
true.
I think too, we can share experiences. We can move through the corporate environment together. We can work through misogynistic attitudes that we deal with on a daily. But it's true, right?
Yeah,
You look
yeah.
at CEO leadership in most of the Fortune 500 companies, and the bulk of them are all male. From the C-level, C-suite down to VPs and even directors.
It's got to change.
It does have to change. It makes you think, like, is it worth it? Is it all worth it to go for
Right.
this?
I think people are just intimidated by very strong minded and just strong women. And that's why I love my mother. She is a strong woman, and each job that she's been in, people have just flipped the switch on her and been a two-faced bitch to her face or not to her face. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, we love Amy. And then like 2 seconds later, it's like, okay, how can we get this person to just like
Yeah.
not be involved in the company and just like push her out? Like that's what happened to your last job. That's what happened the job before that. There's so much misogyny. And I'm not saying like not all men. Okay.
Not all men.
But the men that have been your bosses in the past 3 jobs that you've had, those men. And I think it's just because we were talking about this earlier, and she was like, why me? Like, is it something with me? And I was like, no, it's because of you're just, people are intimidated by you because you are so skilled. You are so smart. This woman, I don't know, you can do so many things that one person can't even fathom of doing. Like, you know how to build a website. You know how to project manage. You know how to read music. You can sing. You can build things. Like, I don't, you can do so many things that I think it's almost intimidating to the average person. So that's why people are like, oh, we don't want her higher up in the company because then she's going to take my job.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with that a little bit. I had a coworker, and I won't say his name, but he is a he, and he would often call me boss. When I hired him,
You did?
and trained him, and he has my trust, and
Mm-hmm.
he told me he kept telling me, "You're gonna run this company," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm at my limit. I've hit the ceiling. There is no more for me." And I knew that
Mm,
because last year, around September, the dynamics changed between the person I was reporting to and myself. And I knew then, because those dynamics changed, we were no longer partnering together. There was a little bit of gatekeeping, ghosting, not invited to meetings, and a few other things that I won't go into.
mm-hmm.
I knew then that no matter what I did, and I was working long hours and, with a short staff, and big changes were being made that I was not part of, and I didn't even know about it until I was blindsided by it.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I knew that I'd hit my limit with male leadership, that even though I had great ideas and I was very successful in what I was doing, and other people had told me this, that was kind of the end. I knew it was time for me to go. If you're not thriving and you're only surviving, then you gotta go.
Yeah.
Maybe, my coworker was right in saying that, maybe there was a threat because he's like, "You're gonna be running this company." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. There's a glass ceiling here." Actually, it's a brick ceiling. You'll never break through it.
Plexiglass.
Yeah.
You can see through. You can see the opportunity, but you cannot touch it.
I'm hoping that someday some companies will learn. I will say that one company that I worked for that literally told me you would not be a project manager because you are a woman. And I rightly quit right after that. I was like, I'm finding myself a new
Yep.
job where I can be a project manager, not just an assistant project manager. But I was happy to see that after my exit interview with the head of HR, the and the president of the company, that those changes came into effect, and they did hire 2 women project managers
Well, they
because they told me
did.
when I left. Yeah, they said to me, my exit interview, they're like, "So, has the ship sailed?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's way past the harbor right now." And the head of HR, which is a female, she said to me, she goes, "This will never happen to another woman in my company." And I'm like, "Good." And it didn't.
Oh,
She held up to that. So that made me really happy. But the fact that I had to
I
go through
know.
that, why is it always me? And maybe I'm paving the way. I don't know.
See, you're just such a nice person.
But regardless, I did find, after I left, um, the responses to me were amazing, from that company.
Mm-hmm.
And that was nice and encouraging. And I'm like, okay, there were people that did see my value. I know that I made an impact, and hopefully for the good. And yeah, just sucks that,
I know.
you put in a whole lot in there.
And then you get treated like crap. Yeah.
That's another life. That's a grief story. But I have a good circle. I have a good circle now of actually people that I used to work with. So it's kind of cool because now,
You didn't burn
other
those
people
bridges.
left. I did not burn bridges. I did not burn bridges with the people that were important to me.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, you didn't burn all your bridges. You burned you might have sparked
I
some
might have
up,
I might have
left
set
it
a
to burn.
spark, but yeah, but what they did with that is there. If they put water on it, fine, great. But if they didn't, then that's that's your problem.
Yeah.
So that's advice for you if you ever go into the corporate environment.
Don't say those words to me out loud. I don't want to be in a corporate world. I don't want like
No.
I just can't see myself working a 9 to 5. The people that do work a 9 to 5 or 8 to 6, I applaud those people because that is just like I mean even service industry workers also I applaud because I've been there, done that, hated it, rightfully so. But just like I don't know. That's why I'm a freelancer. I really enjoy my time, but I also have time to, still be in contact with my friends and with you, and we get to hang out. And I just want to spend my time doing things that I love. And I know I'm young, and maybe I will end up getting a corporate job in the future, but for now, I really value spending my time doing things that I love to do. Not saying that some things aren't hard work. Like, obviously, I work hard, but
Yeah, you're
I
still.
want to work and do something that I like. Like, I don't know, I want to like my job. Is that so much to ask for? Sometimes I feel like it is, but I feel like we've both been chatting a little too much, and I want to make sure that people know that they don't have to listen to us all day. Yeah, you can get a break from hearing these voices. And looking, if you're an audio listener, by the way, I am a blonde bombshell with bright blue eyes, as skinny as they come, and my mom is a beautiful woman, also as skinny as they come, with curly, nice, beautiful brown hair. She looks very youthful, maybe about 30 years old. I just really want you to have like a good image in your brain for that.
All eyes. Except for the part about Emma. She is beautiful.
Oh.
She's beautiful inside and out. And if you met
I
her,
definitely have a tiny forehead.
I don't have the legacy double chin.
The legacy.
Yeah. Our goal is to make sure that we're providing some fun times, but also kind of insightful
Yeah.
conversation as well.
Gotta learn something. Or else, what are you doing? So
Yeah.
hopefully you learned a thing or two today, or at least enjoyed us talking. And
remember, all these stories that I told today, just keep it between us.
got it between us.
Nobody else, just keep it
Okay.
between us.
Look at you tying that in. Well, we're gonna hop off, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye, friends.